8:46, time for the headlines, and we're joined today, or the headline makers, I should say. We're joined today by editor of Spike, Tom Slater, and the author and broadcaster and all-round good egg, Nikki Hodgson. Good morning to you both.
Steve has never said anything like that about me. That's so nice.
Don't get used to it.
Compliment.
In terms of going the travel thing, 20 miles an hour, and using alternative transport instead of driving a car, Sam in Cardiff says the boss here is as useful as an ashtray on a motorbike, which I think says it all, isn't it? Nikki, can we have a look at this? There's a great thing appeared on Twitter, or X, or whatever we call it now, about a burst water main.
Yeah, so it's a street in, Brixton Hill, South London. A burst water main has turned the road into a brown river. I don't know if you can see the video.
Have a look, see how bad it is.
Yeah.
Eventually, it'll come up eventually.
Anyway, yeah.
It's a burst water main.
So the residents didn't have any water as a result of the burst water main, but they also couldn't get into their homes because of water blocking it. So, you know, I don't know how long it went on for, though.
That does look as though they're living on a river.
It does, and but apparently they had one of these blocked-off street neighbourhood things near, so people couldn't take other routes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has happened to me where I live, actually. My street completely flooded. Flooded before, just after I bought the house. They didn't tell us about it.
Doesn't it just show you how much mud there is on a road? Because when a water main bursts like that, and you've got probably very clean water going down, it gets filthy. And it's the gardens at the bottom of the road that are going to get absolutely filthy.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
It's
in Brixton,
awful, isn't it?
suffering from that.
What about the Observer, Tom, this morning? Closer links with the EU is what Labour wants.
It is. I mean, that's been clear for some time now, I dare say. But David Lammy has been giving a speech in Canada where he's there with Keir Starmer, meeting Justin Trudeau and various other centre-left parties, very much trying to present the government as little Englanders, that Britain is back on the world stage, all of which I think is a little bit strange, because this idea that Britain has turned in on itself since Brexit is just not true. We saw that with Ukraine and the lead that the government wanted to be seen to be taking in relation to arms. I mean, this idea that the EU equals internationalism, I've never really understood, as far as it's just one specific continent and one specific trading bloc. But it does show that where Labour are concerned, they do want to move closer towards the European Union.
But this is the problem. We've had so many mixed messages from Labour on this recently.
Well, they want to have their cake and eat it, because they know that the reason that they lost the election last time around so badly was because their former heartlands were full of Brexit voters who were furious about the second referendum policy, which was Keir Starmer's second referendum policy, lest we forget. But at the same time, they also know that their main social base these days are metropolitan, quite well-to-do Liberals who love the European Union, and anything short of rejoining yesterday is not good enough for them. So they're trying to strike this balance, but I think you still do see the
Does it make the next general election another referendum on it, then?
Well, it seems like, if anything, it's implausible that Starmer would want it to become that. But at the same time, everything that he's doing is getting us...
Well, but he keeps talking about it not being, doesn't he? He's sending people like Stella Creasy out to Newsnight or whatever to say, you know, it's nothing to do, you know, we're not doing that, we don't want to be closer, etc. So...
But the thing he came out with on migration policy as well, like, no one wants to be involved in the EU's migration policy. It's a mess. They've been arguing about it for 7 years because they can't agree.
And that's the whole point.
Also, their migration policy is, in terms of what they do with their external border, is much more brutal than anything Suella Braverman's ever cooked up. But I think it just shows, first of all, the fact that he sees the EU as the answer to all of his problems, which is a ridiculous perspective, but also that despite the fact that they say they want to put this to bed, they don't really. I don't think so. They do want something kind of, at least a kind of halfway.
Talk about something else, wouldn't it? We've done it since 2016.
I tell you what, we could all wish Prince Harry a happy birthday if you wanted to. Not for today, it was Friday, actually, because the one set of group of people who aren't wishing him a happy birthday is the royal family. It's all been very quiet. Shall we ask what's going on? Jenny Bond joins us, royal commentator. And a very good morning, Jenny. Hi. Yeah, apparently it's all been very, very silent from Buckingham Palace. Nobody bothered to actually get in touch with Harry and wish him a happy birthday.
Well, as far as we know, certainly not publicly, and that has been the tradition in the past, obviously. They put out stuff on social media, except for last year, because they were in mourning because of the death of the late Queen. So, yeah, I did put it down as a bit of a marker. If there wasn't some kind of public acknowledgement, then the rift that we all know exists just seems unbridgeable to me. The palace are putting it out that actually there are no public messages to ex-members of the royal family or non-working royals, that only the working royals get those messages. I don't know, believe that if you want, it may be true, but it certainly seems odd. I only hope that in private, his dad did pick up the phone or pick up his phone and send a text privately to his son.
You can only imagine that he would. I mean, the King seems to have tried to reach out a lot over the last year.
Well, the fact is, you know, in Harry's book and interviews, he said if there were to be any negotiations, they were going to be private. Any reconciliation would be done privately. I don't think there has been, but I've always thought it's the part of the parent to be the bigger person and to try to make contact. And I hope that the avenue of communication is still open, but I'm not sure about it. Between William and Harry, I think, honestly, that ship has sailed.
What a shame. I think we all feel it's a shame, especially when we see Harry doing so well at the Invictus Games. Jenny, it's good to see you, as ever. Thank you very much. Short and sweet, but always lovely to see you. I've read a piece in the Mail, I don't know if you saw it, that the other royal families in Europe are thinking very seriously about how they treat their spares, because they've seen what's happened here, and they're actually thinking of giving the spare, as it were, a real job in the hierarchy.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, everyone in family should have a role and a skill and a talent and be treated as special. I mean, the idea that you're brought up to be, second best, and only necessary if something terrible happens the first time. Very nice.
There's worse place to be brought up than in the palace.
I'm not saying it was a terrible life.
To be brought up without a role, thinking I'm just the spare
that's the
one.
psychology of that. It's not very pleasant.
Yes, but he has had his army role and everything where he absolutely excelled. I mean, that was a strong role, wasn't it?
Well, it was, but, it's that...
It's because you haven't got an actual sort of constitutional role.
But I just think as a child, knowing that for some reason your brother gets something that you don't, as a little boy, that's quite affecting.
Well, funnily enough, it's Princess Diana who used to call him the spare.
That's very strange, isn't it?
She just thought it was funny.
Yeah,
but
not funny at all.
It sat in there and grew, didn't it?
Just very quickly, can we have a look at Randy Spiders? Just because it's like, why not? This is in the Daily Star
Well,
Sunday.
all I have to say is the story was suggested to us. It didn't come from us. But, yes, apparently 1 billion arachnids are making their way into our homes, some of them by parachuting through the air because... they're looking for mates. They're male spiders coming to look for females. I think they're in your houses. And apparently what most people don't know is that spiders can fly. They can easily get to around 40 feet high by ballooning. So even people in tower blocks or high-rise buildings aren't immune.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's good news to end on.
There's nightmares for us. Tom, Nikki, thank you both very much indeed. Good to see you this morning.